I guess a part of this is saying, when one person has to try to buy a piece of real estate, maybe even a residential piece of real estate that they want to invest in rent, et cetera, most people don't have access to kind of funds to make that happen. So I'm imagining that a part of what this platform does is say, hey, there could be a smaller buy-in. You can have a piece of that residential house rather than have the whole residential house and get in the game. Is that accurate? And then is there a minimum buy-in to do this?
So do you mind if I tell you a story? And I think it epitomizes your question.
Okay.
But it's going to take a little bit longer to understand.
We got time.
And I do actually fundamentally believe that stories explain it much better than just hypothetical conversations.
Yes.
So it was Bondi Beach 2009. And I've now started this company in 2004. I've helped 2,500 people invest in Australia, England, America, and South Africa, all in houses and apartments. Now, how do I say this without being arrogant? I studied real estate or property. I have a master's degree from London, cum laude in this topic. You would think I would know a little bit about it, and yet all I'd ever done was buying houses and apartments. So I'm in Bondi Beach and I meet these two US dollar billionaires. We were right in the heart of the crash. Everyone's running around scared. And what are they doing? They're buying hospitals. Now, just as my interest, do you own a medical building?
I don't.
Okay, so neither did I. I'd never even considered buying medical. I remember sitting there and I said to the gentleman, I said, why medical? He said, well, think about it, Scott. There's three things. No matter what happens in the global economy, people need doctors. Well, that makes sense. Secondly, doctors never leave their premises. Now you think about it. Okay, go back to when you were a child. Think of where you went to go and see your doctor. Is that still a medical premise? To this day.
To this day, yeah.
Of course it is. Almost without fail. I promise you it is.
I sold my practice in 1991 and it's still there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In my case, unfortunately, the doctors died, but the premises are still medical premises.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, that makes sense. And he said, thirdly, doctors are great at what they do, but they're not accountants. And so they sign very good, favorable, long-term leases. I was like, that is like 101 real estate. You've got an economically resilient tenant that stays for a long time and pays you well.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, with all this great education I've got, why has no one ever let me in on this little trade secret? So I was like, oh, I'm in. You know, I was probably 30 years old at the time. I was like, right, how do I buy some of this medical stuff? And they said, no, it's easy. There's 8 slots for friends and family, and it's 5 million Australian dollars each. I was like, there's the catch, there's the problem. So now I didn't even know what I didn't know, but now I did know what I wanted, but now I didn't have $5 million. And so unfortunately I didn't participate. That company now, to this day, is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, and it's worth $700 million.
Wow.
Started with $40 million.
Wow.
So that is what I call the wealth gap, or wealth exclusion, or whatever you want to call it, because forget about the person living in, I don't know, poverty in South America or poverty in Africa. You know, I'm highly educated with all the degrees and whatever, and I still wasn't able to participate. So it comes back to your question. And that was really where I reversed engineered to say, well, we should be doing medical, we should be doing commercial, however, we should be using technology to enable more of us to be able to participate. And so when we started, the minimum investment was $100,000. And that was primarily because of a regulatory thing, accredited investors to be exact.
Right.
And then we got it to $10,000, and we're now at $1,000. So I'm quite excited. Like a lot of people can participate at $1,000, but we haven't moved the needle yet.